In this video, I'm going to show you how to design and sketch your mousetrap powered vehicle side view. Now this is a mousetrap powered vehicle that was used in the past, so it might look something like this. And you notice that I have clear CDs on here. Yours may or may not be clear. I also have 4 CDs on here, and yours may only have 2, or it may have none depending on what you brought in. You'll need a red pencil, brown pencil, just a regular pencil, black pencil, and a green pencil. And some of the materials that you're going to be using: CDs, a mousetrap, wood strips, eye screws, and axle. When you're ready to start sketching, you're going to ask me for a sheet of sketching paper, and this is a sheet of sketching paper. As soon as you get your sketching paper, I want you to print your last name, period, and I'm just going to put period 1 day A on here, but you're going to put your period and day. You'll take your sketching paper, you'll fold it in half, and do not use a marker for this. Print your last name, period and day on the back side of the paper as well. A couple of things before you get started sketching. The vehicle travel is going to be left to right the same way that you read. The back of the vehicle is going to be towards the left. The front of the vehicle will be towards the front here. As far as the grid paper, the larger squares are going to be 1 inch. The smaller squares are going to be 1/8 of an inch, and the smaller squares will be 1/4 of an inch, and then 1/8 inch would be 1/4 of one of the 1/4 inch squares. Okay, and you'll need that for your axles, draw your axles. So starting out, you're going to start with your side view. And notice that this indicates the ground or the floor, and your wheels have to be on the ground line. So if you're using, after you've drawn both wheels, and I have not drawn the front wheels yet, I'll do that off camera, but after you've done both wheels, what you'll do then is you'll go to your check sheet, okay, and that is going to be whatever handout I tell you it is, and for this period of time, this is going to be handout letter D. Make sure you print your last name, period and day, date. You're going to do the side view first, which is what this first video is about. You're going to do everything here in order. You're going to do wheels, you're going to do axles, frame, and eye screws. Okay, you're not going to do the mousetrap because that's item 10, which would follow. You're doing the top view, okay, and then coming back to the mousetrap. So wheels, round, black. Did I use a ruler or trace? Yes, and you can check yours off as well. Did I label it? No. So I will label it now. And now I can check that off, and do go through and use your check sheet as you go along. And is it full scale? Yes, it is, because I traced. All right, the next step is going to be axles, and on your check sheet, the axles are 1/8 of an inch in diameter, and they are green. So this is the size here. So you're going to place your axle right in the center, and it should be 1/8 of an inch, which means basically it's 1/4 of one of these squares. So center your axle in the circle from the CD. Again, I'm not doing the front here. I'll do that all off camera. And then you're going to label this axle. Go to your check sheet. You did not have to use a ruler or trace. I labeled it, and it's full scale. Yeah, it's about 1/4 of one of these little squares. Okay, the next step is going to be doing the frame and the eye screws, and you actually do these 2 items at the same time in the side view. And I'll get to that part next. Now you'll notice that I've drawn the front wheel, and if you're using 4 CDs and you're only seeing 2 CDs here, the other CDs are behind it, and you'll see the second set of CDs in the top view. The other thing that I've done is I've created a flap here to show what your vehicle will look like if you use a CO2 car wheel. And now what I'll do is I'll show you how to do the frame and the eye screws all together. For the frame, you're going to use a brown pencil. For the eye screws, you're going to use a red pencil. The eye screws in the side view are going to look like this here, where you see the round part of the eye screw. The eye screws, when you get to the top view, are going to be just a single straight line because you can't see the eye. The eye is in this, so that you get a sense of what it will end up looking like. And I'm going to, the frame is 1/4 of an inch thick, so this material here is 1/4 of an inch thick. So it's basically going to be an entire square here. But I'm going to line that up and center it around my axles. And I don't want the frame to go through the axles, so I'm going to stop the frame somewhere right around here. And then you want to label the frame. And the eye screws will be next. So for the shank of the eye screw, I do want you to use a ruler. Okay, and then you can free draw the circle that's going to go around the axle. Alright, so it's going to look something like that. And now, if you're using just 2 CDs and CO2 car wheels, this is a little bit trickier to draw, but that's why I'm going to show it to you here. And again, the frame is in brown pencil. And you don't want the frame to go over the eye screws, so I'm going to start the frame about here. I'm sorry, I said the frame over the eye screws. What I mean is I don't want the frame to go over the, or past the axle. Okay, and the frame is 1/4 of an inch thick. And as long as I'm at it, I will do the eye screws now. So you can free sketch the actual eye, and then use a ruler for the shank of the eye screws. The shank of the eye screw is this part from the eye to the point of the screw part. All I have to do now is I have to label these parts. And you only have to label one of them. So we'll put eye screw here. And if the frame doesn't fit in there, just do something like, whoops, probably want to do it underneath here. Frame. Alright, and now I'm going to go ahead and do my check sheet. Okay, so now I've done steps 1 through 4. The mousetrap is step 10, so you're not going to do step 10. Now I'm going to take you to the top view and show you how to do the top view. And after you're done with all the top view items 5 through 9, then you go back to the mousetrap in the side view.